Good morning.
No one said, go on, let's see.
Good morning, Miss.
Hi, guys.
A mí me faltan los nombres de los libros.
Okay, welcome to a new week of classes in this jungle. Okay, those of you that have a book, open it on page 166. The Secret Garden is the name of the story.
¿Me la apunté?
Ya lo voy a revisar. Deme un minuto que estoy en clase ahorita.
Es que yo ya estoy grande. Y lo de grande uno el cuaderno para hacer la tarea.
En el cuaderno. No, toma crayones para que vaya a pintar. Ya le voy a poner tarea, ¿ok? Okay, this is what the book has for the story. The quick ride or to start making a connection with the story. Eye openers are discoveries that make us think about things differently. Going to a new school, falling in love, or even seeing something on television can be an eye opener. Think about a person who moves to a new country. What eye openers might that person experience? And I want you to think about it and tell me, what do you think an eye opener may be for you if you move to a new country? And of course, I want you to participate. ¿Ya terminaste de pintar allá? Los dibujos. Enseña. Pinta los círculos, los cuadrados, los triángulos. La tarea me lo mandó. Ahora termina, pues. Let's start with Omar. What do you think an eye opener might be for you?
The current situation, the sun in the morning, directly my eyes through the window. But another thing could be like the politics in the country, their culture, their everything could be depending on what type of country I'm going to.
Okay. Manuel?
What was the question, Miss?
What may be an eye opener if you move to another country?
Oh, maybe the clima, the weather.
Okay, the
The weather.
weather.
Yes.
Mhm. Estoy en clase, mi amor. Permítame un momento, por favor. Gracias. Let's see, Emily Zuniga, what do you think an eye opener?
New opportunities in a new country,
Okay.
new friends. Um, you can travel around, like I mean, discovering the
Okay.
country. Yeah.
Going new places. Okay, what Manuel said about the weather, it can be also an eye opener because you will discover maybe new clothing that we are not used to. Okay, or new places and new activities that are according to that weather. For example, if you go to Canada, the weather is mostly cold and it snows very much. So you should be now interested in skiing or things like that. Okay. This selection in this collection may contain many eye-opener experiences. In By the Waters of Babylon, the narrator learns shocking facts about the past. The storyteller reveals humorous truth about childhood. In The Cold Equation, we realize that life often possess serious moral dilemmas. In Typhoid Fever, a boy's eyes are open to a sad reality of sickness and death. The next selection is from an autobiography by Asade Moaveni, a woman who grew up Iranian in America and American in Iran. As you read, think about how the first trip to Iran becomes sorry, an eye-opening experience. The background of the story. Funes, can you help us read, please?
Okay, Iran, a country in the Middle East, was once the city of an ancient Persian empire, primarily because of the huge differences in wealth and cultural beliefs among the classes. Widespread demonstrations in 1978 and 1979 led to the Islamic Revolution. The Shah or King of Iran at the time, Muhammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, was eventually forced to leave the country. In 1979, the popular cleric Ruhollah Khomeini founded the Islamic Republic of Iran, declaring himself supreme leader of the new government. Unfortunately, after the revolution, the same harsh treatment that occurred under Reza's monarchy continued, affecting women, minorities, and government critics.
Thank you, Funes. Okay, The Secret Garden by Asade Moaveni. What can you infer by the title? Just by reading the title. Let me ask Alberto.
Maybe oh, maybe a place to relax, a garden or something.
Okay. Okay, this story is going to describe her first visit to Iran in 1980 when she is 5 years old. Okay, from It Was So Cool until Or the Dark Red. Let's see who's gonna read it. Okay. Alex, would you help us, please?
Okay, it was so cool and quiet in the tooth. Tree I have never wanted to come down. I didn't have to. The orchard was so dense that I could scramble from the limb of one tree to another, plunking the plump, red berries as I went along. The sweet juice made my fingers stick together, but I couldn't stop climbing. The trees stretched out as far as I could see. A glorious forest of mulberries, ripe up from my picking. I love my blueberries, but until the summer is there. I had only tasted them dried, but little plastic packets sold in the iron grocery in the store in San Jose. Riveted by the ambience in the squishy texture of berry and its fresh form. A whole new delight. I had spent a better part of the afternoon perched in the shady canopy of the orchard. Asked Juan, I'm going to come down to 30, and you had better come down. Came Mammon's glaring voice from somewhere far below. I gave in, but only because the preliminary pangs of the hideous stomachs to come. Setting, kind of one of the farmers who took care of orchards and farrads, and who had trained Maman's stomach when she was little, made me a tea with sugar crystals to smooth the cramps, and I lay content on my back on the Persian rug outside, as Maman chatted with Cedric about our life in America, debating whether tomorrow I should go after delicate white tooth or dark red.
Thank you, Alex. Only a very small child in the safety of a walled family compound will have felt liberated in Iran 1 year after the Islamic Revolution. Okay, we have Tehran, the capital city of Iran, San Jose, city in Southwest California. A Jan, it's a term of endearment meaning life. Okay, Jan means life. And 1 year after the Islamic Revolution in 1980s, the Islamic Revolution in which the ruling Shah of Iran was deposed was in 1979. In 1980, Iraq invaded Iran. Let's continue with the reading from But It Was Blissfully to Emergency. Sofía Gurcia.
But I was blissfully unaware of such terms. Finally, I was unless and wanted to stay forever in this country where I could roam about freely. In Ireland, I could pay wherever and with whomever I wanted. In the street, in the backyard, with the caretaker daughter, with my brand new dog, when my cousins and I played at our grandparents' apartment. Complete in California, we had to be visible and within hearing distance. And all times we were tethered to our parents' fears that we made concert with street children, to our parents' fear that we made concert with the street children. With I later released only men normal before us in this yet broken country. It were to flip of the rudder for more than a few minutes. It says, and a rescue squad will fall out into our pursuit. Neither I nor my cousins relate this loyal protectiveness well enough occasionally we would deal 9/11 in revenge for the pleasure of watching our poor grandmother, our aunt explain to a policeman who knocked on the door that surely says, "Sir, there is mistake here. We are having to emergency."
Thank you, Agurcia. Funes, continue, please.
Where? Me voy a parar el ventolón. ¿Dónde tengo que seguir? Perdón. Okay. In Tehran that summer, I wasn't the only one unleashed. My mother could barely stay fleeting from house to house, from Tehran to the Caspian and back again. Even when she was at home, sitting down, she was gulping in space. High ceilings, drawing rooms, vast enough that I could race a tricycle down from one end to the other. I thought her lungs had only been partially breathing the whole time she'd been away. I finally saw Mom, my beautiful, proud, mad mother, laughing gustily.
Continue, Funes, up to California as well. Microphone, Funes, microphone.
Sorry, instead of that tight lips while she wore as she chauffeured me around San Jose to piano lessons, to ice skating lessons, to gymnastics back and forth to school, all by herself. It was often just the two of us on his trip to Iran and back in California as well.
Emily, my parents had divorced up to never change back.
My parents had divorced shortly after they permanent, permanently moved to America in 1976, just a few months after I was born. She took me to the pastry shop on Halibi Boulevard, where we bought the bite-sized cream puffs we had labored over in our kitchen in San Jose, and the ice cream that I forever after associated with that summer in Tehran, that fleeting glimpse of the life we might have had. Agbag Mashti, it was called, saffron colored, dotted with bits of ice cream, no, of cream and bright flecks of pistachio, perfumed with rose water. Pahlavi north-south through Tehran, from the foot of the Alborz mountain downtown, and we walked its northern lands, licking our ice cream as it dripped between two thin wafers. Later, I would learn that Reza Shah, the late Shah of Iran's father, modeled the boulevard after the arteries of Paris, and that it had been renamed by the revolution of Bali ASR after the Mahdi, the occulted final imam of Shish, but that everyone still called it Pahlavi. Years later, I would flee down its side streets, tripping in flimsy sandals, away from Islamic vigilantes with clubs who would kill and die to make sure the name never changed back.
Okay, but that summer, continue. Oscar, please.
But that summer it was only an elegant slope of sycamores where Mama would take me for Bastani ice cream, where I first discovered that the boulevard could be lined on both sides with a flowing stream, a, a yacht covered with little bridge. To my 5 years old suburban American sensibilities, exposed to nothing more mystically than the Smurfs, Ivan was suffused with drama and magic. After Friday lunch at my grandfather's once, the last plate of sliced cantaloupe were cleared away. Everyone retired to the bedrooms to nap. Inevitably, there was a wailing out on hand to scratch by me back as I, I fell asleep. Unused to the siesta ritual,
Sumar
woke
ahora
up
5
after
más
asking
3.
where to find the bed I was sharing with my cousin. What in a tower of art of screaming ghosts that stretched high up to the ceiling. Wake up, I nodded him. We're surrounded. It's for the mosquitoes. Carrot. As go back to sleep. To me, it was like a fairy tale, and I peered through the knitting to the living room to the table heaped with plum, dates, and the dense aromatic baklava. We will nibble later with tea. The day before, I had helped my grandmother Racy John make a shed good harvest. Erin stew. We made hopes out of the fresh pasta and dropped them into the vat of simmering herbs and laughed. Here even the ordinary had charm, even the names of Steve.
Okay, thank you, Oscar. Thank you to those of you that helped us read today. We're going to continue with the story tomorrow. And the first one who's going to read is Gabriela, then Lizzie, and then Isaac. Okay? Okay? Okay. See you tomorrow then. Bye.
Miss, Doriana tuvo problemas con el internet y se tuvo que salir.